Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you all for joining us for the Peace Economy Project Summer Fellows presentations. Today is an opportunity to celebrate the work our fellows have accomplished over the past several weeks. Each fellow selected a unique area of research connected to the peace economy, from military spending and climate resilience to international perspectives on militarization, human rights, AI, journalism, and public policy. While their topics differ, they all share a common purpose, asking how societies can invest more deeply in human well-being, justice, and sustainable peace. One of the things I appreciate most about this fellowship is that it isn't just about producing research. It's about learning how to ask better questions, evaluate evidence thoughtfully, and communicate ideas that can contribute to public conversations. These are skills that will serve our fellows regardless of where their careers take them. This afternoon, sorry. This afternoon, each presenter will speak for approximately 5 to 10 minutes, sharing what they explored, what surprised them, what challenges they encountered, where they believe this work can go next. I encourage everyone to listen with curiosity and to save any questions until the end of each presentation. To our fellows, thank you for your dedication, your willingness to wrestle with complex issues, and the energy you've brought to this program. Research that challenges conventional thinking is rarely easy, but it is essential if we hope to imagine and build more peaceful, equitable communities. I'd also like to thank our board members, supporters, mentors, and guests for taking the time to be here today. Your encouragement and engagement make programs like this possible. With that, let's begin. I'm excited to introduce our first presenter, Luna Miyashiro, who is our journalism and research fellow. Thank you for presenting today, Luna.
Okay, can you let me know if you see my screen?
Okay, we
Okay.
can we can see it.
Okay, perfect. Wait. Okay. Uh, I don't know why I am not able to. Okay. Can you give me a second? I'm having like a bit of a trouble. Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay, that's gonna be perfect. Um, Good afternoon, and thank you for giving me your time today. My name is Luna Higa, and I am a summer fellow with the Peace Economy Project. I'm glad to have this opportunity to walk you through where my project stands, which is international perspectives on militarization. Um, and what I have completed so far, what I have learned, and where I'm going to take it from here. So, the project is anchored in one core question, which is how do different democracies approach public safety without relying heavily on militarized policing. I've organized it around four supporting questions, which are how do different democracies approach public safety? What alternatives exist to heavily militarized policing? How do military spending priorities differ internationally? And one of the most important questions for us is what lessons can the US learn from international examples? So, to ground this in real cases, I have compared six different democracies with different approaches to policing, which are the US, Norway, Germany, Japan, New Zealand, and Canada. The first phase of the project was largely about building a solid foundation. I developed a framework with seven different categories of analysis from militarization level, public safety outcomes, police structure, public trust, human rights, governance, and peace and stability. For this, alongside that, I have completed an annotated bibliography of 16 sources from the UNDP, the Institute of Economics and Peace, and others. So going forward, I can rest on consistent, credible, and reliable evidence. The framework is what allowed me to then go to phase two, which are the 6 country case studies. In these, for each country, I examined its police structure, its militarization indicators, its budget priorities across military, health, education, and welfare spending, and its outcomes, such as crime rates, public trust, the perception of safety, and other key indicators. So, a few patterns are already starting to begin, and I want to present them carefully since I'm on the starting stage of the works. So the work is very still preliminary. First, I have identified that um, lower militarization spending does not appear to come at the cost of public safety. For example, now Japan and Norway both make that case with measurable outcomes, not just with favorable impressions. Second, the countries that use community policing models, such as Japan with the Koban system or Norway with the Night Ravens, tend to report higher levels of public trust within their institutions. And third, social investment seems to be a good way or a positive way in health, education, and welfare to make people feel safer within their country and not actually the scale of the military budget that a country invests. So each of these patterns deserves to be closely studied, and that's exactly what I'm planning to do on this next phase. Beyond the findings themselves, this phase really has taught me a great deal. I have to build real fluency in comparative research across different countries and to interpret government and international data sets like the World Bank, the UNDP, and other resources. But these skills I've valued most is learning how to make dense information into technical material which anybody can or an general audience can read and genuinely engage with. That's more than anything the purpose of this fellowship for me. Looking ahead, I would looking ahead, the remaining phases are structured. Over the next 3 weeks, I'll carry out a comparative analysis. Which will also bring the 6 cases of the countries that I have been studying together to identify patterns across the group rather than treating each country in isolation. From there, I'll produce a series of 4 public-facing articles for the Peace Economy Project website, and I'll close out the fellowship at the end of August with a comprehensive comparative report of 15 to 20 pages alongside the final presentation of my findings. So these are the deadlines for my next steps. And I just wanted to thank you for your time. And yeah, thank you for your attention. That concludes my update.
Thank you very much, Luna. Our next presenter is Rashmi Dahiya. Rashmi started off working in our domestic militarization watch earlier this year, and now Rashmi is going to finish off her fellowship with Peace Economy Project as our technical support and security support fellow. Thank you for your work, Rashmi. Take it away.
Thank you, Katrina. Let me just get my screen sharing set up.
Katrina, I think Kea was having some trouble signing in, so you might want to keep an eye out. I think he might be logging in soon.
Okay.
Oh, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. My computer's being super slow today. Katrina, it seems that you've transferred your computer issues to me. You're muted.
The people at the Apple Store can help you with that.
Anyway, I'm a security support fellow, and my topic that I'm researching is about cyber warfare, AI, and the future of security. So uh, the central research question for me is, how are governments using cyber warfare and AI in modern military operations, and what are the economic, ethical, and human rights implications of these investments? Um, so this project is structured into 6 phases. So far, I am done with phase 1 and 2 and halfway through phase 3. So the first phase was about just understanding cyber warfare to contextualize everything. And then phase 2 was looking into the military cybersecurity and AI funding and comparing it with what the US is spending, like the budget um, shows for like civilian cybersecurity programs. And then in the next phase, we talk about like the human rights implications of all this. And then after that, I would proceed to international comparisons, seeing what other countries do, what the US can learn from that. And the phase 5 and 6, unfortunately, I am going to have to leave PEP early. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to get to those. But at the very least, I'm planning on like having my deliverables like presented such that other fellows are able to kind of like work from those, and the final like public education materials, they're able to develop those. So that is kind of the game plan for now. So what is cyber warfare? That is generally so scholarly discussions, they tend to differ a little bit in their definitions here and there, but like in the nitty-gritty, but largely it is understood as strategic hostile action that is authorized and coordinated by one state against another in cyberspace, and that is serious enough to be considered the equivalent of like a traditional armed attack. So these cyber attacks are designed to disrupt, degrade, deny access to, or destroy the opponent's information systems, networks, or critical infrastructure. Um, they are classified into 2 types, offensive and defensive. For offensive, the goal is to project power by the application of force and through cyberspace. So, for example, if you are conducting like a denial of service attack, you're trying to just like disable your adversary's assets, or you're trying to plant false information, steal sensitive data. All of that goes into offensive cyber operations. But offensive operations aren't necessarily aggressive. State and non-state actors often hack to improve their own defense posture, and this is known as a defense-forward approach, and this is what the US is investing more into. And then on the other hand, defensive operations are intended to defend your own or friendly cyberspaces, and these are of 2 types: active versus passive. Active is where you are trying to disrupt the adversary's network when hostile activity is suspected. So this is kind of like offensive, but offensive is kind of like either you were starting it or like you are retaliating when someone else has started. Uh, so there, it's kind of like the defense forward offensive approaches sounds kind of like defensive. The active defense part kind of sounds like offensive, but it's kind of just like because neither offense nor defense works in isolation. So it's kind of just like a mix of those. Then passive defense is when you are trying to secure your own organization perimeter and your information systems, like, employee training, password hygiene, stuff like that. So, time and again, there have been like a lot of like cyber warfare examples, but these 3 incidents have been like the key shaping ones to the modern like cyber warfare landscape. So first off, we had the Estonian cyber attacks in 2007. These were one of the first major ones, and Russia launched massive distributed denial of service attacks on Estonia's government and banking websites, which paralyzed the nation's digital infrastructure because these attacks are basically designed to just deny service. So like you're not able to access those systems anymore. Then in 2010, we had Stuxnet, which was a US-Israeli effort. It's a computer worm, like a self-replicating program. And this was the first to demonstrate that a cyber attack could cause tangible physical harm. They did this by damaging Iran's nuclear centrifuges. And this was a moment that showed that cyber operations don't just stay in the cyberspace, they can also achieve kinetic effects. Then number three, we had NotPetya in 2017, and this was something that began as a targeted malware attack from Russia on Ukraine, and it quickly spread globally and caused billions of dollars in damages, and basically just revealed the collateral costs of state-sponsored cyber warfare. While these three are like the key, like historic, like shaping kind of examples, we also have like more recent ones, such as Israel versus Iran and Russia versus Ukraine. So in June 2025, cyber warfare between Israel and Iran also escalated alongside like the physical conflict. And Israel disrupted their financial systems, including a $90 million theft from Iran's largest cryptocurrency exchange. So Iran responded with hacktivist attacks, which included like false missile alerts and TV broadcast hacks to spread panic. Since then, Iranian cyber attacks on Israeli targets have also increased 700%, although many of them were blocked. Then the other example, like as we mentioned, like the Russia versus Ukraine one, that's been like a persistent thing for forever. They conducted over 4,000 cyber attacks against Ukraine in 2024, targeting critical infrastructure. And then in June 2025, which seems to have been a big time for cyber warfare, Russian intelligence deployed a new malware against Ukrainian government agencies using social engineering via signal chats. So social engineering is kind of when you're using the human factor to compromise technical systems. So, for example, like phishing calls, they're trying to get you to click a link to install, malware or to give out your credentials, but they're not doing that through technical means. They're exploiting the humans for that. So something like that is what they use to get that malware in. And Ukraine then retaliated with cyber attacks that disrupted Russian railways, Orion Telecom, which disconnected a uranium mining city and wiped 370 servers, as well as Tupolev, which is Russia's major aircraft manufacturer. So as you can see, the impacts can be really massive. So with that, it is really important to study where the US is at in terms of spending and investments into military, cyber, and AI infrastructure. So as this infographic shows, this is as of 2026, fiscal year 2026. The US had a total of $20.5 billion for total cyberspace activities, of which 7.7 billion were in cyberspace operations and 4.1 billion just for the US Cyber Command. I forgot to include this on here, but the increase from this is 2026, and then for the 2027 budget request, the overall budget has I think it is 1.65 trillions is what they've gotten to. So this is like a massive increase, and as my further work will show, it is not really headed in the right direction. So this was cybersecurity, and then we have the budget for AI development. We've got $58.5 billion, of which 46 is going just into an AI arsenal infrastructure, which is kind of like very vaguely described in budget documents. So we don't exactly know what that is. And then the rest, like the 10 billion, so we have 7 for R&D and 3 billion for testing. And there's quite this double standard because for the Department of War has been getting like, $20.5 billion for these cyberspace activities. And the Homeland, they have had a $1.23 billion unprecedented cut to the civilian cyber budget. This like 10% drop in expenditures will weaken federal defenses. It shrinks the talent pipeline and strips state and local governments of like vital grant funding. And then this, mm, the the diplomatic defunding is reallocating resources under the guise of America First priorities, and it is only consolidated into areas that strictly enhance economic leverage, abandoning broader global stability efforts. And so this is the opportunity cost in comparison. $58.5 billion on the Department of War AI and cybersecurity budget, compared to 35.6 billion for the entire US State Department discretionary budget. So they're going to be spending 1.6 times more on military AI alone than on the entire global diplomatic and cultural and foreign operations apparatus combined. And then the trade-offs here are between, you know, autonomous warfare and human exchange. You're eliminating scholarships and diplomatic centers. In terms of cyber resilience, military gets all the money, civilian programs are losing it. Then global influence, you've got all this defense spending going on at the cost of elimination of human rights, youth and disability special envoys. So overall, it just reveals a very dangerous assumption that complex global conflicts can be solved through 46 billion AI arsenals and drone swarms, while the human tools of diplomacy, cultural exchange, and civilian resilience are discarded. We need a peace economy because it is what funds the bridge, not the drone that watches it. Thank you very much. This is what I have for now.
Thank you so much, Rashmi. Next, we have a presentation from Shirley Kalapala, who wasn't able to be here. So we are going to play the video. Again, new computer, so give me a second to pull that up. Okay, it's not showing up here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Unfortunately, my computer is not going to allow me to play Shirley's video right now. So I will upload it to the the PEP YouTube site, and the board can review it from there. I will now see if our board chair, Abby Sudvark, has any comments for the fellows who presented today. Abby, do you have any comments? She cannot unmute right now. So we had a few technical difficulties with our fellows. So that is the end of our presentation. Thank you to the fellows who presented today, and you are doing amazing work. The board and appreciates your hard work, and we will close this out.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And she said she is typing that she says great work She sent that in the chat.